Right, buddy, in this video we're going to be looking at 5 players Manchester United must sell this summer window. We know it's going to be another big window for Manchester United, and I think these are the key 5 players I think Manchester United must sell this summer. Let's get into the conversation. So starting off with number 1, Manuel Ugarte, a player for me who just has not been good enough for Manchester United, and Casemiro's form has been fantastic and he's willingly deserved to start games. But Manuel Ugarte, ever since he joined Manchester United, he's had many opportunities. He just hasn't been able to hit the ground running and just doesn't look like a Manchester United midfielder. I think this will probably go down as the worst signing that Ineos have made in their tenure. And again, I don't think he's a bad football player, but he's just not what Manchester United need in the middle of the park. He's not great on the ball. Yes, he has a contract for a few years, so it'd be hard to shift. But I think he is one of the players for me who I think Manchester United should be looking to get rid of as part of that midfield overhaul. I think he can definitely improve the quality on Ugarte, and with Casemiro expected to leave, I know we're going to bring in a few midfielders, but getting rid of Ugarte allows us to improve that squad. Now, in terms of replacement for Ugarte, again, there's many options. João Gomez is better than him. At Wolves, you have Amadou Onana. I'd actually rather have Scott McTominay than Ugarte. Then obviously you have the main boys in Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Sandro Tonali, Adam Wharton. These sorts of players that can come in and transform that midfield. But I think Ugarte for me would be the one that I look to sell. It's just been frustrating watching him at Manchester United. He's never really worked in this midfield. And you can see Casemiro starting. When Casemiro is available, he starts every game. Because he is that good of a player. And Ugarte, as I said, didn't hit the ground running. There was a lot of money invested into a young player at 23, but yeah, for me, he's someone that I'd look to sell. I think we can definitely do so much better than that in this squad. The second player is Andre Onana. I think this one's quite self-explanatory. He would be someone high in the priority. Apparently, he wants to come back to Manchester United and fight for his position. That should not happen. Saint Lamont has that number 1 position for the next hopefully 5 to 10 years. And I think Onana coming back to the club will just be a hindrance. Don't get me wrong. He did well at Inter, but his time at United has been a shambles. Countless mistakes and errors leading to goals. He's just a reckless goalkeeper and isn't a good shot stopper. And that's ultimately what a goalkeeper should be able to do. And Onana can't do that. So that's why for me, Onana would be one of the players I'd look at in terms of exits. Again, he's at loan at Trabzonspor right now, so potentially another club in Turkey. Could he go back to Inter or Ajax? But again, he's one of those players that United just can't afford to have around. He saves a lot of wages, it opens up a space as well. But ultimately, it's not like we need a replacement. I'm happy with Lamont. And I think Onana for me has just been one of Ten Hag's worst signings, in my opinion. I think £50 million we invested in him. The warning signs were definitely there. And again, look at the countless errors that he made. I remember Nottingham Forest, Brighton, in the Europa League, in the Champions League, that has cost Manchester United many, many points. So for me, he would be the player I look at selling. Again, you probably won't be able to get much money for him. I'll take genuinely 15 million. I know that's a severe loss on what we paid for him, but honestly, he's going to be very difficult to shift. And I don't think there was a permanent buy option for Trabzonspor to buy him. But hopefully he just leaves the football club because, again, I'm happy with Selimont. We don't need Onana in and around the club anymore. The next one is another goalkeeper, Altay Bayinde. Now, Bayinde actually started off the season and he started off very poorly. A goalkeeper, I believe he was brought in at the same time as Onana and he was supposed to compete with him. He looked decent for, was it Fenerbahce, I think we bought him from. Again, he's just not a good keeper. He's not good from set pieces. He's actually a decent shot stopper, but he's not good from set pieces. He's quite flappy. His distribution isn't great. And as I said, open up space in the squad. I think he's a player we tried to get rid of in the last summer and in January, and it just didn't happen. And I think he would be one of the players I'd look to get rid of this summer window. I think for me, his quality is not good enough. Again, we've bought in Saint Lamont, invested into the future, and get rid of Bayinde will massively help reduce the wage bill and ultimately get rid of a player that is just holding up a place in the squad. The next one is Marcus Rashford. Now, listen, I know there's been a lot of reports about bringing Marcus Rashford back to the club. Again, a Manchester United legend, in my opinion. I think what he did for the club in over 400 games, multiple trophies won, done so much off the pitch, but so much on the pitch. And I think watching him at Barcelona, he looks good. He wants to stay at Barcelona. It just comes down to Barcelona not being willing to pay for him, which again, £26 million for a player of Rashford's ability is insane. I think he's got over 100 Premier League goals, over 400 Manchester United appearances. an FA Cup, a Europa League, or two FA Cups, a Europa League, two Carabao Cups, and he is just a very good player. He's a unique profile. He's 28. And again, he'd be someone who Manchester United save a lot of money on. And I think he's a player who, again, I think unique profile. As I said, there's not many players in world football that has Rashford's quality and ability, especially in that left wing position that you'd be able to get for cheap. I think there was potential about him coming back. I don't think that is going to happen. I don't think it should happen. Rashford openly admitted he wants to leave Manchester United, and I think it was right for him to do so. And he's looked good at Barcelona, as I said. He's confident, and I think he would be one of the players I think Manchester United should sell this summer. Don't get me wrong, quality player on his day, but the time at Manchester United is definitely over, and I think you can definitely improve on that. And I think we have better players. I'm happy with Cunha and Burmo and Ahmad, and potentially who else we look to bring in Dorgu on that left hand side. But yeah, I think Rashford, United legend for me, and someone who, since supporting United, has given me some good moments. Again, 2 goals against Arsenal on his debut, big performance in the FA Cup final, Europa League in that run, he was fantastic. So yeah, listen, Rashford's a legend for me, but I think he's one we need to sell. Now finally, Mason Mount. Listen, this guy for me, top level player. I think on this day he's one of the not one of the best players in this United team, but he definitely is a significant player. And I think that day just doesn't come enough. He's injured an awful lot, which is not really down to him, but it's just he's one of those players that has been ruined by injury. Again, he's on somewhere between 200 and 250 grand a week, so that's why I'd look at selling him. Opens up a space for development of someone like Shea Lacey, potentially Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher. Cheetah will be just someone of attacking quality that can come into the squad. And I think, listen, it's been sad for Mason Mount at United because, as I said, there's been some great moments for him in the United shirt, but they haven't come frequent enough, and that's why I'd look at selling him. Again, he's going to be someone difficult to shift because he's got a few years left on his deal at Manchester United. He's on a lot of wages, and I don't think he'd want to leave Manchester United. But listen, they are 5 players that I've quickly looked at that can leave Manchester United, or that should actually leave Manchester United this summer. Again, there's more players. I'll do a part 2, potentially looking at Luke Shaw, Dallo, obviously Hoyland, potentially a centre-back or whoever. But let me know your thoughts. As I said, I think there's other positions that Manchester United should be looking to get rid of players in that department, but they're kind of the main 5. Ugarte, Onana, Bayindir, Rashford and Mason Mount. Let me know your thoughts if you agree or disagree in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and let me know your thoughts.